Just go for like second base on the first email, and work your way up to the crescendo.
Yes.
Hey, podcast listener, you're about to discover insider tips, tricks, and secrets to making more sales and converting more prospects into customers with email marketing. For more information about the Email Marketing Podcast or Autoresponder Guy, go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast. Hey everybody, it's John McIntyre here, the Autoresponder Guy, and it's time for the first email marketing podcast where we talk about the top tips, tricks, and secrets for making more sales and growing your revenue with email marketing. It's episode 1, the first episode, and today I'll be talking to Dane Maxwell, the creator of thefoundation.io, about how he used email marketing to triple his business. To get the show notes for this episode of the Email Marketing Podcast, go to dropdeadcopy.com/EP1. But first, I want to make you a deal. This is the first episode, like I said, and I need reviews. Now, in exchange for a review, I'll make you famous by reading out your review on next week's episode. Okay, so step 1, listen to the episode. Step 2, go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast, click on the review link. It will take you to the Email Marketing Podcast page in iTunes where you can leave a review. Simple, fun, and you'll be famous, and I'll read it out in a sexy, enthusiastic voice. Okay? Anyway, now it's time to get started. Let's go. Let's talk to Dane Maxwell. It's John McIntyre here, the Autoresponder Guy. I'm here with Dane Maxwell, the creator of thefoundation.io, a company that helps entrepreneurs start successful software companies by thoroughly understanding what the marketplace wants and marketplace problems. Dane, how you going today, man?
Good, John.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Real quick, let's tell us a bit about who you are. Who is Dane Maxwell?
Small town guy from Iowa. And actually, my town's like 500,000 people. And it doesn't really feel like a small town, but born and raised in Iowa. And scammed for $12,000 about 60 days out of college. I was flipping websites back in the day.
Okay.
And the fourth website I flipped, I made like $12,000 on, or the third one I made like $12,000 altogether, and I spent every dollar on a fourth website for $12,000, and I got totally fucked on it. And that's the exact word I felt. So I had like $123 to my name, and I couldn't get hired anywhere. I tried getting jobs at like Principal, and tried getting jobs at like Principal's like a big financial company here. No one wanted to hire me, so thank God they didn't, because I always kind of wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was forced into a situation where I had my back against the wall. I was in my parents' basement, and I started a software company without any idea of what to build, with $123 to my name, and without any idea how to code. So long story short, I built a recruiting platform for a real estate industry, and I had the brokers pay for the development of that software so they could get that software free for life, and then I just turned around and sold it to all the other brokers and made a nice amount of money. And I hired a developer, and I didn't even come up with the idea. I just asked the brokers, like, what are you struggling with? What do you need? And like, we'd really like to have recruiting websites. Like, cool, we'll do that. Can you pay for development? Yes. And that simple framework is what is driving the entire success of the foundation and the 6 or 7 other products I built. And what I'm kind of excited about is seeing how the foundation could be applied to businesses that aren't necessarily software too. But that's who I am and what's going on.
Okay, so the foundation is it's a group that teaches basically people how to start software companies, and now it sounds like you're about to start teaching people just how to apply the same principles to creating any sort of business.
Yeah, we're really passionate about, we want to create 1 million new entrepreneurs with their first customer, their first paying customer in the next 5 years. And we're really interested in that, but what's more important is the personal transformation that occurs inside someone when that happens. There's a number of limiting beliefs, a number of doubting thoughts, a number of emotions that are spinning in a would-be entrepreneur or starting entrepreneur. Like, most entrepreneurs think they need an idea, so they just wait for that idea to get started, and then they never do, and they're 50 and they haven't pursued their dream. So we really specialize in helping entrepreneurs start from nothing.
Okay. Fantastic. So I know you use email marketing in the foundation, and I know you use it a lot in some of your other businesses because we've talked about this stuff before. So tell us about, like, where does email marketing fit into the picture at the foundation?
Well, it fits into the picture like in all of my businesses. It's like the center of the business.
Okay, so I think you've mentioned this before, like email marketing being one of the highest leverage points everywhere. That as far as investment goes, you get the highest return on your investment when you focus on email marketing.
Easily.
Okay, why is that, do you think? And what are you doing to get such a high return from email marketing?
Why is it? Why do you think it is?
I think email allows you to get a much more intimate connection with people. And I think as the world gets busier and we're just covered by an onslaught of content, there's so much noise around that we need better ways of filtering it out. And for a lot of people, they just stop consuming a lot of stuff. And the email inbox becomes a kind of a sacred zone. So if you can get into their inbox, you're in the sacred zone and you're going to get their attention.
That's absolutely true. It's interesting. The average business owner is like, I got to figure out how to get my name out there. I got to get the name out there. I got to get the word out about my business. And like the direct response marketer, they don't really think like that. They're not like, I got to get my name out there. Like the direct response marketer is like, I got to get people's names into me. And so, like, that's one of the things we teach in the foundation. You don't get your name out there. Like, the first thing that people do in business is like, all right, I got my business set up. I got to get my name out there. No, you focus on getting people's names into you. So how that looks, practically speaking, if you're a realtor, they're like, oh, I'm going to get billboards, and I got to get in the newspaper, and all those things would help. But the highest leverage is getting people's names into you. So let's just say, as a realtor, you become the official realtor for dog lovers. So you specialize in dogs that have fenced-in backyards and friendly dog neighborhoods and things like that. And so you're branding that everywhere. And then you go, so you do have some name out there stuff, but you go to like dog salons, doggy daycares, and you start creating a relationship with them, and you ask if you could get a list of their customers and do a promotion. And now you've got all these customers from all these doggy places doing a promotion for a realtor, and you've now got all these names in your database. And email marketing is really that same thing. You just got these names that you're marketing to. You just focus on getting people's names into you. And that also applies to websites. I love trying to figure out how to capture email addresses on websites, especially in software as a service. We had the old paperless. I'll go back to the foundation in a second, but software as a service capturing email addresses is really fun because we like to say, enter your email address in the box and we'll send you a pricing sheet. And so then a person enters their email address, and then we send them a double confirm opt-in email. And the double confirm opt-in email, when they click on that, the thank you page is the pricing page. So now we have a double confirmed opt-in lead looking at our pricing, and we just follow up until they become a paying customer.
Do you find that causes, like, instead of having your pricing on the front end, do you find that lowers your conversion rate or increases it?
Well, I think it depends on the market. For us, definitely increase, because, when we don't have, like, my CEO is not the CEO of that company that runs without me now, which is beautiful. But the CEO of that company is not as aggressive as me, so he doesn't have the email capture there anymore because we have a registration, so you can register for the product, and he wants to drive registrations as opposed to pricing requests. I would prefer both, but I'll let him run it the way he wants. It's okay. He's doing very well with it. So, but like, we'd get back when we had it, we'd get 10 to 15 pricing requests a day. And as opposed to like 15 people that want to see price, and then I don't ever going to follow up with them again. Yeah, and when people are looking for transaction management software, they're looking at like 5 different options at once. So if I can capture their email address and get pricing, and then I start talking about the competition and other options, you're probably looking at other options and this, and so let me tell you why this is different. And like, oh crap, I didn't consider this. And like, it's just a really powerful way to. I love capturing emails for SaaS. The other thing that we did is. We have the links up top or the home, the tour page, the about page, and everything else. And I had an email capture there above the full. We had a video on the left and an opt-in on the right. And the opt-in on the right said, take a private guided tour, enter your email address. And when they enter their email address, it just forwards them to the tour page. And the tour link is right up top anyway. And I had a 10% opt-in right there.
That's awesome. So once they get the pricing, once they sign up and they double confirm their email, and they're on the pricing page, what are you sending them after that to cause them to buy? How do you come up with these ideas? What works? What's working for you?
Oh, lots of fun stuff, man. This is exciting stuff. Like, I like sending like a 1 or 2 line email that's like, hey, saw your requested pricing. how are you currently managing your transactions? And then, they might reply and be like, I think it's really important to get a reply on the first email. I think it improves your sender score or something like that. So the first email, the goal of the emails for me is to get replies, more so than like clicks. But because every time, like if you send out an email and you get a bunch of replies, and that's a communication, it's a conversation, and the email services out there are like, oh yeah, email is a back and forth dialogue. It's just not a one-way broadcast. So like when you get these replies, I think it improves something. So the first email, we always try and get a reply. And I actually think we could probably do a better job at the foundation, but we have this whole list of like, hey, so you registered at the foundation. Tell us like, what's your one thing you're working on? Like what's one thing you want in your life, and what do you think's stopping you? And we get lots of cool replies from that. The Paperless Pipeline product, paperlesspipeline.com, when they requested pricing back in the day, when I was running it, it would be like, how do you currently manage your transactions? And then they'd be like, oh, we're using this competitor product, or we currently haven't used anything. Now that I know those two things, I can sell them a whole heck of a lot easier.
So I think there's a really interesting point there. It sounds like you're taking the replies. So you're asking a question, first of all, to elicit these underlying problems and pain points, and then you're taking what they say and using it to build out the copy and the message and the marketing of the business. So then what happens is you're resonating with the target market far more than any of your competitors can, because they're probably not sending these emails and asking the questions.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember getting into email marketing and like wondering like, what in the world do I send an email? Like that's like a really big block for a lot of people. It's like, well, what emails can I send? Well, you can send a 3-4 line email. It's just a question that you want them to answer. It doesn't have to be like long value add content. I send testimonials, like sending one. If you have a product, if you have a list of people that haven't purchased, take one testimonial that you have that's good and blast it out to the list with an offer to purchase, and you'll get sales. Like that's amazing. If people sit on the Paperless Pipeline list and they haven't bought yet, like every week they get like a testimonial from some raving customer. And people read testimonials in email a lot differently than they read testimonials on a website.
Yeah, I was reading through your copywriting checklist today. I've been doing some email stuff, and you say that. Why do you think that's the case? That it works better in email and not on a sales letter?
I had this broker email. Okay, the biggest testimonial on the homepage back in the day was from Rob Campbell, and I had a broker email Rob Campbell and ask him, "Hey, are you really happy with the product? Like, tell me, are you happy with the product?" And like the testimonial on the site is like he's thrilled with the product. Like, I actually created the product for Rob Campbell because I asked him what his pain point was. Hey, Rob, what do you need? And he's like, I really need the software, so I built it for him. And this business I had an offer for like $3 million to sell it this year or last year, and I declined it. And this whole business was started from nothing by just asking the customer. So it's like what we teach in the foundation, which is like really mind-blowingly fun to do. And so like this guy's on the homepage, and he's got the testimonial, and a broker Google searches his name, finds his email address, emails him, and he says, "Hey Rob, so how are you feeling about Paperless Pipeline?" He copy pasted the testimonial from the website back in the email. And the guy's like, "Oh, cool. So you meant everything you said?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course I did." I don't know what it is, but people just like, I think they get to a testimonial on a website and like, oh, this is where they're going to try to sell me. Mm-hmm. But in the email, their guard's down, like, because it's such that intimate, sacred space. That's probably what it is. People's guard's down in email.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. You reminded me of I think it's an email from Dean Jackson on Marketing Monday, the 9-word email. I think it's like a question where you say, like, are you still looking for a real estate broker in California? And that's all you say. There's no hey, there's no signing off or anything like that. That's all that's in the email. And the amount of people that reply to emails like that is astonishing.
That's awesome. I love Dean Jackson.
And what about the prospecting email that you guys do with the foundation? Because I know they come in and they're learning a bit about how to isolate problems in the marketplace. What are you teaching people about? How do they get responses when they're contacting business owners to search out their problems?
Oh, we do our cold email blasts to like different business owners.
That sounds so spammy, but it's not, is it?
No, because we do it one at a time. You know, you look up a person's email address, you go to their website, and you're like, hey, I saw your website, I saw this, and it's a one-off email. So if you send 100 emails, you should get about 20 to maybe 50 that open it, because we've really fine-tuned this down. And the email is like, the subject line is like strange question, ? And it really piques interest. And then the email is like, hey, you know, what's like, in a nutshell, it's like, what's the most painful problem you have in your business? Maybe I could find it. You know, it's funny, the email's getting pretty popular. So like, I'm getting people emailing me.
With the same thing.
Yeah. They'll email me. Let me just, so Amir Kella is the creator of Kenotopia. And he sent it out. He got the strange question email, and he sent it out, and he got like 2,000 replies. Okay, it's a strange question. Hi, Dane. This is Amir from Kenotopia. I hope you're having an awesome week. I'm currently doing some research and would love to ask you a quick question. What are the biggest challenges you face on a day-to-day basis? Your challenges don't have to be related to prototyping or design. As long as they are pain points and frustrations that you deal with every day, I'd love to learn them, even if it's only 1 or 2 sentences. Thanks, Amir. P.S. I'm happy to share my findings and insights with you once I'm done with this research.
He sent that to you?
Yeah.
Is he in the foundation?
No, but he teaches inside the foundation, and like he teaches user interface inside the foundation. So we have like the best UI guy in the world, and we're going to Vegas here, and today actually we fly out, and we're celebrating all the successful students of the foundation. There's like 35 to 40 people that are going to be there in Vegas that we're going to be all celebrating together their success in the foundation. It's the end of the program.
Yep.
And Amir's coming, and we hired Amir to design the user interface for the next iteration of the foundation.
Wow. Okay, so you got 35 people. So I think last time, how many did you have last time compared to this time?
Like 5 or less.
Okay.
5 like successful people at the end of it.
Okay. And how are they doing now? I'm curious.
The ones from the very first year?
Yeah.
So the first year we had 88 total people sign up, 33 people left at the end, and like I think 3 really legitimate software companies coming out of that.
Okay.
The other 27 people decided they didn't want to do software, so like they own e-commerce stores, or like they travel around the world and do like freelance SEO work with like the mindset stuff they learned in the foundation. But the other 27 people, I didn't get a single refund because that customer, like, they were like so happy. You know, some people launched like interview series businesses, and it's weird. Like once your mind's unlocked, like, oh, software's pretty cool, but like, actually, I think I want to do this thing over here. I'd say we had 3 people out of 88, which is like what, 4% or 3%. This year, it's more like double or triple that, like somewhere between 10 and 15% success rate, because we're getting better at teaching.
Okay.
We're getting a lot better at teaching. Like we're the best. No one's better than us at teaching this stuff, because we dive into the deep inner game of limiting belief work, the mindset stuff, the chatter that goes on inside your head, and we help clear that out of the way so you can actually move forward uninhibited. So I'd say our success rate is 10 to 15% this time. And I plan on our success rate being 20 to 30% next time, because the interactive learning environment that we're going to be building for this next foundation iteration is going to be like nothing information marketing has ever seen.
I love it, man. It's so freaking awesome.
What makes you say that?
I've been following you. Like I followed you through the last one, and it's just interesting to watch, like how you guys execute, how you pull it off, man. It's inspiring.
It's exhausting.
I'm sure it is, man. I'm sure it is.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
I mean, tell me about the common mistakes that people make in the foundation when it comes to email.
Not following up on their emails, not being consistent, not following up, and then not being clear and to the point. Like if you use Dean Jackson's email, are you looking for a real estate broker in XYZ city? That's really what the agents want to know. But if you give agents an access to their email list, you say, okay, agents, you're going to send an email to your list. They're going to like 100 agents, 97 or 98 or probably 99, maybe even 100, because agents are awful at business and marketing. Well, they aren't any more awful than the average business owner. I would say, 90% of entrepreneurs, if we call it a realtor an entrepreneur, don't really know what they're doing. And it's not their fault. Like they're just misinformed. So I'd say those agents, if they had like a list of 2,000 people and they're supposed to send an email to their list, the women are going to send cute recipes, and then be like, oh, by the way, think of me if you still need any real estate services, or like, an update on how many homes they've sold, or, and other things, which is what they really want to know is they want to know if people want to buy or sell a home. Yeah. So like just email that one question. So a lot of times when like the students are like, hey, Dane, I'm not getting a good response rate on my email, I look at it and it's just, you can feel the nervousness in the email that they've written. One of the things we do is we send a lot of LinkedIn messages, and that works really well. And it works well if you're clear to the point. But what they do is they just they lose sight of what it is they want. I'd say, so the goal of the first email is not to get what you want, it's to get a reply. So I when I'm advising people, I'm like, well, get this reply. And like, wait, but I actually want this thing over here, which is like a phone call. But get them to reply back and forth first, and then ask for a phone call. Because it's really weird. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, man, it's like a sequential thing. You get them to jump through one hoop, and then you get them to jump through the next hoop, rather than going for the big hoop the first time.
Yeah. Like, I sold a real estate broker. Like, I blast out an email about a product, and he replies back, I love this product. And it was like the Broker Roundtable product, which is just a monthly interview series of brokers. And I was like, oh, cool. And I replied back to him. I was like, hey, have you seen... I said, hey, how are you? Have you seen Paperless Pipeline? How are you managing your transactions? Like a one-line email. And he's like, oh, yeah, I've seen it, but we use Relay. And so I reply back to him, like, well, are you happy with Relay? And he's like, not really. That's what he sends back. I say, well, what are you unhappy about? And he's like, well, I don't like the broker review of files, and I don't like how tedious it is to upload files into the system. So I shot a video, like a minute and a half, and said, hey, Ryan, check out this. Look how easy it is to review files here. Look how easy it is to upload files. I sent him back and said, hey, check this video out. I made it just for you. He watches it, and he's like, whoa, what about security? And then I sent him a link about security. He's like, what about pricing? And I sent him a link about pricing. That conversation took less than 10 minutes, and it was back and forth, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails. And I could have never included that all in one email to sell him that welcome winning.
You did this one by one, didn't you? This wasn't an automated follow-up.
No, this guy wasn't automated follow-up at all, but he became an awesome customer. And you can do these things on a much bigger scale, like we do as well. And I'm not talking about just don't think about like, oh God, I can't do that one-on-one. Like, first off, if you're a starting entrepreneur and you're starting off, this is really inspiring and empowering because you can just write these one-off emails. But if you have like a bigger list, 15,000, like our list is now 15 to 16 or 17,000. And we do these kinds of interactions all the time. We'll get 500 to 1,000 replies, and we'll just look at a few of them and see if we're on the right track with what we were thinking or whatever, and move on. But I say, consider your email. What is it that you want? So write the whole email out that you want, and then the last line of the email should typically be at the top.
What do you mean the last line of the email? Like whatever question you would ask at the end for the setup, that's the first thing you say.
Well, typically people get to the point at the end of their email. So like it's actually the same in just human conversation. People talk for 5 minutes at the end, they make their point. And all they really needed to say was they just needed to say the thing at the end. So were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. So what happens in email is like we have people in the foundation, like they write their email, like they ask me to critique it. Typically what I do is I take the last few lines and put it up at the top, because it's like, hey, I'm doing this research project. I'm XYZ. I've got these credentials. Da 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 da. By the way, would you be open to a phone call sometime? Take that question. Hey, would you be open to a phone call sometime? And then below that, I'm working on a research project. I have these credentials. Da 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 da. But you get to the point right at the top of the email. So write the email however you want to write it, and then just reverse it. It works really well.
Right. That reminds me of advice. I think it's from Elements of Style, from that old kind of how to write book. And the main point is like, write less. Basically, like whatever you're writing, like cut it in half. Like say the same thing just with less words. And so brevity. And I think that's so important in email is that, like we were talking before, there's so much information and just shit flying everywhere right now that people appreciate when you get to the point a lot faster than the average person.
I would say my favorite email autoresponder is Perry Marshall. Opt in for Perry Marshall.
Check that out. All right, man. I think we're like right on 20 minutes, or maybe just a couple minutes over now. So it's time to wrap it up. But thanks for coming on, man. Before we go, give yourself a plug. Where can people find you? And then we'll say goodbye.
thefoundation.com. If you go to thefoundation.com.
.com or .io?
We just bought the .com.
Ah, okay, nice, sweet.
So yeah, we our next foundation class is coming up October. We hired Amir. He's 20 grand. We're doing a deep dive with him for 3 days to talk about all the places that members got stuck last year. We found members had a lot of trouble selling. And so we did a lot of limiting belief and reversal work there. And, we're bringing Amir on to design a user interface to really just kind of meet a customer where they're at emotionally when it comes to selling, so they can be best supported through that and know how to do it without all the angst and anxiety they typically experience. So my favorite part about the foundation is it's like an ethically legit business opportunity. Like, it's really awesome. And it's like kind of spiritually based in that, you're going to be doing deep internal work on the internal game of entrepreneurship. And so we do have a case study there on Sam Ovens, a guy from New Zealand who built a company out of a garage starting from nothing. He had nothing, and now he's got a very successful business called snapinspect.com. But you'll learn about that case study. He was interviewed on Mixergy, and he became one of the top watched Mixergy, top commented interviews of all time, because the foundation stuff is just so inspiring. So if you want to listen to that case study, or you just want to see a little bit more get a vibe for how you feel about the foundation, just go to thefoundation.com.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll have links to that down in the show notes for this episode. So yeah, cool, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, John. And hopefully you can make the email marketing space a much more fun space to be in, because I would compare it to hot chicks get really tired of all these douchey guys hitting on them all the time. I think a lot of people are really tired of douchey bad emails.
It's kind of like everyone's trying to sleep with their opt-ins on the first date, man. And people need to take time to warm the oven,
Yeah, you gotta, don't go for what you want on the first email. Go for that like an email 10.
Just go for second base on the first email, and work your way up to the crescendo.
Yes.
All right, man. Cool. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Yep. See you, John.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you want to discover more insider tips, tricks, and secrets about driving sales with email marketing, sign up for daily email tips from the autoresponder guy. Go to dropdeadcopy.com/podcast. Sign up, confirm your email address, and I'll send you daily emails on how to improve your email marketing and make more sales via email. You'll find out why open rates don't matter, and the 7-letter word that underlies all effective marketing, and much more.